Welcome back to Power Lunch, everybody. Food waste accounts for about 8% of global greenhouse gas emissions. In the U.S. alone, it is equivalent to emissions from 33 million cars. But what if we could reduce that using something as basic as Bluetooth? Our senior climate correspondent, Diana Olick, joins us now with the latest in her series on clean startups. Welcome, Di.
Well, hey, Ty. Yeah, and you may have heard of the Internet of Things, IoT. It means items that are embedded with sensors or software. And in the case of this startup called Wiliot, it's tiny tags attached to food, medicine, and other items that track every aspect of their lifespans in order to reduce waste.
It's this ability to drive a very lean supply chain with only just the right amount of products that are in the right place at the right time, which we think is one of the keys to solving climate change.
They do it with these stamp-sized computers powered by Bluetooth and attached to any product or packaging, from vaccines.
It allows us to measure the temperature, the location, the authenticity.
To zucchinis.
Each zucchini that goes into a crate joins a unique monitoring path.
Smart crates monitoring everything moving from farm to fork. Wiliot is working with label giant Avery Dennison, which is manufacturing millions of these tags and connecting them to the cloud so they can be tracked anywhere, anytime.
By knowing where a product is, what's happening to it, where it's from, you can act faster. And so it's about taking data and turning it into actionable insights.
Insights that ultimately work to decrease waste by monitoring delays and shelf life. Wiliot is seeing massive demand as the makers of just about everything strive to reduce their carbon footprints.
Last quarter, we quadrupled our revenue, and I expect when we leave this year, then that growth will be on an even steeper trajectory.
Statler says clients include some of the largest pharmaceutical, apparel, and grocery companies. Backers so far, Avery Dennison, Verizon Ventures, Amazon, PepsiCo, Samsung, and SoftBank. Total funding, $270 million. Not only can this technology reduce waste, but it also enables companies to quantify far more accurately their carbon footprints from the point of manufacturing to consumption. And that'll be really helpful for corporations as new regulations on emissions are clearly coming, Tyler.
These tags, they tell you where the product goes. Is that really the heart of it?
They absolutely do. That's the whole idea, is it can, as you know, whether it's a vial of some pharmaceutical or a vaccine or a zucchini, it tells you exactly where it is, what the temperature is, how long it's been there, and that, again, will
tell. And what is the nature of the sensor that picks up all of this data?
Well, it's Bluetooth.
Bluetooth.
I want to say it's high technology, but it's not.
Is Bluetooth on my phone or in my house?
Right.
Yeah,
Bluetooth.
Okay, fine. And then that gets transmitted back to some central cloudishness.
Exactly.
And how much does it cost? I mean, are you tagging every single zucchini, every vial?
Well, that is, of course, proprietary information. But the companies are willing, of course, to invest in it because it's going to save them money in the end when they have all this waste. If they can tell where that zucchini is and if it's not going to go bad, that's going to save them money.
So in the next 15, probably minutes, I will share with you some insight, some experience from a very interesting project we run as we speak in Israel with the Shufersal. Shufersal is the largest retailer in Israel. And I have the honor to be part of the project team. So actually, whatever you will see here is based also on my personal experience. Let's start from the basics. Food waste. So there is a huge challenge and as big as opportunity that is facing Shufersal in particular, but every retailer or food-related retailer in the world. So about 30% of the global energy is consumed by food system end-to-end, everything, production end-to-end, in which 38% of this food is being lost, again, end-to-end. But if you drill down a little bit, you see that about 14% between the farm to the store is being lost. So 40% is not the major number out of this, but still 14% of almost 40% globally is a big number. And that gets us to the opportunity. So the opportunity is that specifically stores can save up to 40% of spoilage if they can cut inventory, but by only half a day. So only half a day improvement of inventory will get 40% reduction of store spoilage. And on the other side, shoppers, when you ask shoppers, about 80% of them will say that fresh produce, fresh fruit and vegetable is the key factor for them to make shopping in a specific store. So that's a very, very big thing that if you can improve it, you will guarantee stickiness of your customers. Moving to the technology. So ambient IoT. Wiliot is part of this notion of ambient IoT. Ambient IoT is Internet of Things, making things smart, but creating them smart by using the ambient as an energy. So it can be light, it can be motion, it can be radio frequencies around them, as Wiliot is doing, as long as you don't need to power them up with specific power source which is integral in their item. Ambient IoT is part of the 6G 3GPP standard that's being formed, and Wiliot is a pioneer in this one. The difference between IoT and even RFID and ambient IoT is the ability to move from billions of connected items to trillions of connected items. And the way to do billion to trillion is not by increasing the compute power locally, but to make the entire solution cloud native. So the entire solution is being managed, compute, and populated from the cloud. Other differences between standard RFID and Wiliot technology is that you can provide a real-time actionable insight from the information, from the data that is coming from the IoT devices. You have sensing capabilities because the ambient IoT can sense the environment. You can get sensing capabilities like temperature, like humidity, like proximity. And as further develop and be made, again, further sensing are being made possible. The entire data flow is secure, so the data is going to the cloud in an encrypted way and being, again, decrypted and analyzed on the cloud. And the best thing probably is that you utilize existing infrastructure. You do not need tailored infrastructure that is proprietary infrastructure in order to enable the end-to-end technology. And this is the video that I want to show. Is it working by any chance? Let's just try. It's just a brief video by CNBC, aired approximately 2 months ago, nationwide in the US. Just the best and shortest way to explain what Wiliot is doing, not related to Shufersal and to the farm and store. So we don't hear them. So we will skip the video. In the video that, in the deck that will be populated by RPA, I hope we will be able to hear this one. And I'll skip this forward. So going to our customer, to Shufersal. So Shufersal is the Israeli largest retailer, 300 stores nationwide. 300 is not that much, but Israel is a very small country. It's the only retailer in Israel with 100% robotic distribution center. And it's a Platinum Plus rated member of the Israeli Organization for Corporate Responsibility. These 3 pillars means it's a relatively big retailer. It has innovation in mind, and that has sustainability in mind, which gets us exactly to the right point of talking with them and getting a full understanding of what value Wiliot solution can bring to them. So Wiliot is a 6-year-old company backed by some quite large investment from multiple sectors, from financial to semiconductor to pharma, food and beverage. You can find a lot of names here. Overall, approximately $270 million were invested until now with Wiliot, which get us a lot of financial funds and backing in order to continue and develop the technology. What we did with Shufersal in 3 really easy steps. So first of all, we've tagged crates with IoT pixels. These tags that I hold here is the same tag that was tagged on the crates of Shufersal. We've enabled a light and low-cost infrastructure that enable these tags to get radio energy in order to collect this energy and transmit Bluetooth signal, and the same infrastructure upload the data to Wiliot Cloud, and we've created action from inside coming from this crate. So tagging the crate, enabling very light and low infrastructure network, and actions, specific action to Shufersal. This project started the summer of 2021. We've took existing reusable transport item from Shufersal that was part of a zucchini farm in Israel, and tagged these crates, a few tens of thousands of crates during a couple of weeks' time. And we've basically installed infrastructure at the tractor of the farmer, so we'll be able to see directly from the field, at the farmer's storage, at the distribution center, and several stores. That was the entire deployment. The architecture is, as you can see in every food chain in the world, it's the same architecture. It goes from the farm, move to the distribution center, then goes to the back of the store, then to the front of the store, to the shelf, and the crate are then being washed in order to be sent again to the next farmer. So this is a standard cycle, nothing special here. And this is a short clip, luckily without voice. So the tags were put on the crates, transmit data already from the farmer tractor, then moving to the farmer storage, moving to the distribution center, enabling us to see data all the way up until the store, then to the back of store, front of store shelf, guaranteeing produce that are with a better freshness to the customer. This is a sentence that was said to us by Zvika Fischheimer. He's the Executive Vice President of Innovation and Strategy. Again, just showing Shufersal is very keen on innovation. I have an Executive Vice President there just for that. The ability to see in real time that every crate of fruit and vegetable are being kept at the right temperature throughout the transportation process, and to know exactly how much time has elapsed since they were harvested in the field until it arrived to the branch is nothing short of revolutionary. This was the state of mind of Shufersal. So the next two slides, I think are very important to understand the inside, because we are tagging crates, we are following them, but actually we want to see the inside of the crate. We don't want to know how many crates there are. We want to understand what is the impact on the freshness, on waste reduction, etc. So we noticed that it takes Shufersal between 2 to 11 days to move a produce crate from the farmer up until the store. 2 to 11 days, depending on the distance of the farmer from the DC, depending on whether there's a weekend in the middle and multiple other factors, but it is what it is. And it takes between 0 to 5 days of inventory, or 0 to 5 days between the point it entered to the store until it will be deployed on the shelf. 0 means crate was entered to the store and immediately put on the front of the store to the shelf. And 5 days means 5 long days of produce kept in the back of the store. You can imagine what's the impact on the freshness of the product in this scenario. So we found 4 major issues during this process of project. So the FIFO was not always maintained in store. FIFO means that you want to make sure that the first crate of tomato that entered to the store out of 10 will be the first one to put on the shelf in order to reduce spoilage and increase shelf life. Excess inventory and over-ordering. This is probably the story of the life of stores. Store manager will always prefer over-ordering, over-inventory, over-under. So we noticed that it's probably not news to anyone, but we managed to look at it. We managed to find that the majority of temperature throughout the supply chain is maintained, but few excursion with 1+ day, which mean 1 day plus mean that in some cases we saw a crate that during these 2 to 11 days had more than 1 day with temperature that is not as recommended for the specific fruit or vegetable. And temperature visibility at farm, this was probably the easiest. There is nothing. Farms are doing as much as they can in order to push crates with produce as fast as they can to the DC. They really do not have any means to monitor temperature or fix them when they see something happen. And the solution for this so not just that we managed to provide indication for maintaining FIFO at the store, we managed to provide indication to manage FEFO, first expire, first out. Because the third crate that arrived to the store is not necessarily the one that needs to go third to the shelf. The third crate may have harsh supply chain cycle, may have harsh temperature, may have a longer supply chain, and therefore needs to be pushed first to the shelf in order to increase overall produce freshness and shelf life. So this was a very major change of not just FIFO, but a lot of time FEFO is more important than that. We had managed to give them a better alignment on demand. So now you know how many crates are on the way to you, what's the usage in the store, how many you have in inventory, and what's the situation of each one of them. You simply reduce the demand because you feel, even in store level, you feel more secure that you will get what you need. Real-time alert to correct temperature excursion. So it's not just a statistical data to tell you that there were certain crates missing temperature yesterday in some route, but actually gives a very specific and real-time indication that enable fixing of problem very fast. And something else that we learned is that when you show the ability to track temperature at farms to the farmers, they actually have incentive to be on board, because at the end of the day, they want the same goal. They want fresher and faster produce to the store. And we got a lot of cooperation and incentivized by Shufersal to the farmer in order to maintain temperature at the farmers. What's next in the project? So Shufersal goal is to half the average time it takes produce from farm to store. That's the goal, and it's doable. And as a side benefit, to add several days to the shelf life. So it's not just takes shorter, it's also getting in a better shape to the store. So it's due to the shorter cycle and the better maintenance of temperature throughout the chain, which this immediately increase the customer satisfaction, better produce very clearly, healthier sales margin at store. You need less inventory. Produce are fresher. You don't need to give a special discount because produce are not as fresh as you would like them to be. And of course, reduce food waste as a side thing, as a thing that even if this is not the most important, if you just want to focus on increase your profitability and increase customer satisfaction, your food spoilage is going down immediately. So the next thing that Shufersal is doing is actually tagging their entire fleet of 1.25 million crates. Again, it's a small country, and install infrastructure to support 250 farmers and distributors. That's the direct approach customer suppliers of Shufersal, 250, and 300 stores throughout the country. For any of you who are interested to learn a little bit more, so we are on the other side of the RPA area, but also our website is really very well maintained, with a lot of data, with a lot of study and information. We also have partner enabler kit and starter kit, which allow you to test the technology, to check whether this can be applicable for you. This is not a mandatory step, these kits. It's just if you really want to feel the technology and have a sense of what it can do to you or to your customers, then this can be a good route. Otherwise, you're more than welcome to visit our booth or contact us, and we'll be happy to support any questions.